be some sort of global #1 seed if you're a nerd, you know, they don't care about that stuff. So
that's what I care.
Let's talk about, well, we're all nerds up here. Here's the bracket we've played through. Yesterday, we didn't see game 6. It was only games 4 and 5, sweeps and near sweeps across the day.
Yep.
Hopefully, Bates, we get to Champions Field on one of these matches today.
At the bare minimum, let me see Neo Tokyo. I know the Copper Box wants to see Neo Tokyo. Just absolute slap at everybody. 4-1-4 and 4-4-4-0. It was ugly out there, Gibbs.
And I thought the closest match was going to be Mates versus BDS. I was like, this is going Champions Field. I picked BDS. The Mates came out, and they came out firing. It was 18 goals to 3 for BDS, the biggest blowout in playoff history of the Open era. It was insane. BDS saves 17 throughout the series, but Gentlemates, they scored 18 goals. BDS was nowhere to be found on the defensive side, but at the same time, you have to credit
What's up, everybody?
Mates.
Championship
So
Sunday.
much pressure. They were hitting
Happy Sunday.
a few clips, most of them wide open nets.
Thanks for tuning in. We're watching some high-quality Rocket League today.
Team. They were the 3 seed of EU this time, 4 seed last time. It does not matter. They perform in front of this crowd.
And it's just really impressive to see them playing at this high level here. Again, you go back to Copenhagen, all the matches were 1-goal games, very close, very tight. And we knew Mates were a LAN team, but to see them build on this particular performance and just, again, dominant matches against a team BDS who going into this tournament, a lot of people were expecting to win it. They were the #1 team online, but Mates showed up and they shut them down hard.
And Itachi, he was involved in 2.5 goals per game. Juicy was involved in 3 goals per game. And again, BDS played 4 games, they only scored 3. So that's how dominant this was. It was never close. We saw it by the probably midpoint of game 3. We're like, this series is chalk. BDS does not look like the team we thought they were, but the Gentlemates in front of the crowd.
How's everybody doing today? Sorry, I'm just messing
It's shocking to me that the
trying to get it organized.
thought was going to be the
I'll be right
closest
back.
turned out to be the least close match in the history of playoffs. Like, that's just, it's usually the blowouts are like, it's gonna be a bad one-sided match, and then, oh, we didn't realize it was gonna be this one-sided. We thought this was gonna be close, Bates.
I know, yeah. I believe me and Gibbs both said it was going to be Champions Field, but we said it in opposite directions, and that didn't end up happening. I went back and rewatched the tape last night. It was just BDS just lacking in mental. It's like they weren't never there. Gentlemen just took advantage of that, and that's why they're playing today.
Well, let's talk about one of the other one-sided matches yesterday. They were all a little bit one-sided, but also an upset. I think many people will chop it out as one of the best results in the history of the region. South America taking out the reigning world champions Vitality. Furia in 5 advanced to the top 4.
And Furia came out with a tone that Vitality just simply weren't ready for right out the jump. Their speed, their ability to get to the ball was fantastic, and you can see it even in that goal there from Drafinio, showing no fear. Third man back, getting those instant challenges on the ball, not letting Vitality have any time. We talked about dominance here, but in an upsetting fashion, Furia, again, no matter what was thrown at them, whether it was pauses, whether it was Vitality, Zen trying to build up the crowd, nothing was stopping Furia from taking that series.
And it was just pure control from Yan every single time. Great on the defensive end. I believe in game 3, he put up 1,000 at 5 saves, 3 goals. He controlled the tempo, controlled the pace, and then lost also, which is so impactful the whole entire time. Vitality, as you said, Demar, Zen tried to hype him up. He tried to get the crowd behind him, but it ultimately wasn't enough.
And we got to talk about, it was a Swiss rematch yet again, but this time Vitality won that. Furia bounces back, so they are tied 2-2. We need to see this one more time at the World Championship.
I do want to feel like, seeing what you're seeing on the screen here of like Zen trying to get the crowd hyped up. This, all the matches yesterday were pretty one-sided. This was probably the best look for the losing teams here, and especially the way Vitality tried to rally in those final 2 games, baby.
Yeah, they did try to rally, and listen, we did learn that Rido was a little under the weather yesterday. It wasn't on the injury report. We don't have that in Rocket League just yet, so that might have affected him. But you see this, and this is where rivalries begin. Because you see Drafinio, he gets up, he starts talking, he starts letting Vitality know you don't got us this time around. And I know that these 2 teams, when they meet again, hopefully at the World Championship in Fort Worth, it's going to be fireworks on both sides.
Electric.
Imagine.
Electric.
Imagine.
I'm ready for it already. That's what I want to see.
I mean, even in the matchup, Gibbs, I mean, going into that one, Furia was the only team that could take down Vitality in terms of the them versus Sam matchup. And then now to do it here on this stage, getting their revenge, I mean, it's just all leading to a clash eventually.
And there's just a beauty of Swiss that we've never had both 3-0 teams actually win in the quarterfinals. Always one loses. So Swiss matters, but when you play here in front of people, the nerves play a factor, and then we get some wild matches like we saw here with Furia.
I mean, Furia had just lost to Vitality in the Swiss
They did.
just days before, and yet they're able to come back here, correct the mistakes they made in Swiss, and now they're alive in the top 4. First time for South America in years. It's an amazing result for them. We'll get to see them play a little bit later on today. The last results we're going to talk about here, let's talk about the Falcons completing. We knew we'd have at least 2 regions in the top 4. We were optimistic about 3, but we got 4 here, Gibbs.
Yeah, the Falcons looked like I said it would be a dominant performance, but Gen G, they popped off early. Game 1, apparently Jack, he scores immediately, and this crowd erupts. And I'm like, maybe they can use that energy, but the Falcons, the speed baits was just too much from games 2 through 5.
The speed was too much. They adjusted. FK came out hot out the gates over there in game number 1, but the Falcons, that synergy has been together the whole entire tournament. I believe they've been the best midfield team so far in the tournament because they're just taking their boosts, suffocating you, forcing you to make mistakes after mistakes, and eventually it takes tough saves like this, and yet they still commit. They still keep hunting for you. It takes goals like this in a way where Abject just kind of just goes and hopes and prays, and he gets a good 50 and goes in his net, but it ultimately will never be enough because look how fast Rawaz is up. The pressure will continue for this team. He pre-jumped Abject's clear, and the Falcons score because of it. What do you think about that, DeBab? You ain't got nothing to say? Don't worry, I'll take it from you again. Clear.
So that's the thing with the Twins, though. It's just playmaking ability. Like we always talk about chemistry on teams. You can't get more chemistry than being twin brothers, right? So we see Killers. He's scoring everything, but then we got Roas just passing beautifully throughout this entire tournament. Number 1 in assists per game is Roas. Number 1 in goals per game is Killers.
And, you know, I want to talk about that too, Gibbs, that chemistry, because I do think it was just a big factor here in this series. Just Falcons being able to play as a unit, playing at their style, and being on that consistent pace. You could tell Gen G were just not really focused, not locked in. Maybe it was the stage nerves. This crowd was really behind Falcons when they started getting on that run, and they continued to do it all the way through the series. I don't think Gen G are necessarily out just yet. Of course, there's that World Championship. I do think this one got into their own heads, and then they ended up dropping into a Falcons team that was not giving up anything.
They're just so good, Falcons. TRK 2 years ago was in the finals.
Yeah.
And he failed. He wants to get back there.
We'll see if he can do it, folks. And the Falcons, incredible gameplay. We could have analyzed just about anything, but Johnny Boy was on staff to break down some plays for this pre-show. So, of course, we're going to be studying the Falcons. Johnny, what you got?
Yeah, I want to take a look at a couple of plays from Falcons in particular. We just had a look at them very quickly on the replays, but I want to take a closer look at just how unplayable these guys are when they can get into their aerial plays. Now, Kalir's coming off a respawn here in the back. He's going to pick up 100 boost and then start air dribbling, but he's got options here. He doesn't have to go for the 50-50 that he ends up going for. You'll notice right there, Chronic's covered in the backboard, so he backs out of this double tap that he's got planned, and instead, he just goes low. Chronic's covered in height, no problem. Mid-air 50-50 flip reset, forces it through. And it's that multifaceted threat, that ability to adapt on the fly that makes Falcons so difficult to play against. Same thing again in game 5 from TRK. He goes for the fake, followed by the 50-50. It's his signature move, really. We can see it better from this camera angle, just how precarious of a position apparently Jack is in. Right there, Jack's got a decision to make. If he stops, then he can't cover the net because TRK will just have a direct shot at it. But if he drives forward like he does, TRK could just 50 it right through him. And it's that ability to create 2 threats at the same time that make Falcons so hard to play against.
The adaptability from the Falcons. Thank you, Johnny. We appreciate the analysis. And Copperbox, welcome Reynolds to the desk here. Reynolds, welcome. How you doing?
Good. I'm feeling great. I'm ready for good Rocket League.
It's going to be a great day of Rocket League. We're hoping for it here. And when we want to talk, we brought John, we want to talk about the Ally MVP. None of us have had the pleasure or maybe drama and hair-pointedness moments of having to play against any of these players, but you have, so let's talk about them a little bit. The Ally MVP will be an award we give out at the end of the tournament to one of the best players of the event here. We'll walk through some of the nominees right now. Let's start with Beast Mode. You've played against Beast Mode a time or two.
Yeah, it's a player that you would be surprised if he didn't win North American MVP for the year. Talented player. When you have a team it's that talented, it's hard to stand out, but he does. You know, one of the best players off the ceiling, kind of innovated it this year, and he's looked really good.
Look really good indeed. You want me to give you a couple of Beast Mode's numbers?
Yeah, let me hear it.
All right, he's averaging 1.26 goals per game, 463 score per game, 1.74 saves per game, and he's even demoing with 2.
Good demo stats.
You think he's playing as good as he does online?
I think he had an interesting Swiss. I think they got a little complacent playing in NA this year. With Gen G kind of slumping a little bit the last month or so, it's kind of let G2 take the foot off the gas. But I was really impressed with him yesterday. I thought he played his best Rocket League recently. You know, look at that. But I'm excited. I think he's got it.
I think he's got it. Top 3 players in NA right now. Go.
Beast, LJ, and You can throw in a few players. I would probably go Daniel.
Daniel. Still seeing Daniel here playing as well. We're excited to see him play today. Let's talk about some of the other players. Roas, a player that has been given Player of the Day already by the Rocket League community, and well-earned situation here, Dazrin, as the Falcons continuing to dominate.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what they go up against, Roas has always been ready, whether it's just been making that impact play on the back end or just kind of setting things up for clears and the front end. But I mean, he's been definitely a prolific scorer over the course of Swiss, continuing into playoffs. But it just seems like you can come to expect that when you see Team Falcons. I mean, Roas has always been up.
Slater, what do you think about this Falcons team with Roas right there?
I said it off stage right now, and I said it with a little hesitancy, but this might be the best team I've ever seen.
Falcons?
Oh, man.
This team is unreal. I think when you think of Falcons, you think of very individually talented players, and they look clinical.
And then you got Yam right here running with South America at the moment. I mean, he's been nothing but great. When he went up against, who did they play again yesterday?
Vitality.
It was absolute domination. I mean, all the counterattacks. Slater, you played against him all the time.
Yeah, not
last
fun.
year.
Yeah.
What do you think about him?
I played him this year, and it was not pretty. Don't go back and watch Copenhagen round 1. But talented, can do anything with the ball. It's tough. You make him go one way, he can go 4 different ways. He's impossible to defend. Gets a lot of space from this Fury team with the help of Lost and Rafinha, and he's impressive.
Well, let's talk about the Ally MVP from Copenhagen. He's in the running to win it again here. Juicy, an electric performance yesterday, Dazrin.
Big Juice trying to make a splash once again. I mean, I love what I'm seeing out of him. Absolutely dominating Team BDS. But again, this is something that I like out of Gentlemates because you have a lot of impact players. You have Itachi who can also come through and make a lot of clutch plays. But when it comes to Juicy, if he's elevated, Gentlemates is a completely different team. They're at the top of the world. And Juicy, I mean, BDS just let him run free. It was just wonderful to see.
And then last but not least, you got Killers, the twin, alongside Raz. Both of them in the top 5 for points. I mean, Slater, when I look at this team, I see Raz holding down the back line. This man, young man right here, that's holding down the front line. Is that from your experience too?
He's impressive because, you know, you get Rawas, you get the ones, you get TRK as well. You get really popular players.
Yep.
Players you don't really hear much other than he's a twin. You know, you see him in threes and you're like, oh, how good is he really? He's unreal. He might be the best player on this team.
Really?
His offense is incredible. And it's been like that online, even into these live events. And that's why people love Falcons so much. I mean, it feels like they got the full package.
They do. And they're still here, still fighting. And we've said it a few times already in this pre-show base that there really isn't a favorite, it seems, today. It feels like you could make an argument for any one of these teams being the favorites. Falcons definitely a strong case, especially when you look at their MVP nominees.
Here we go.
Wave, I like that. I like that point. So now I'm going to ask Slater. Slater, who is your favorite to win it? Who is your pick to win today? Where's your grand final? Tell the Copper Box, tell the world what you're thinking.
It's tough. I've gone back and forth over the last day, and it's funny because I actually think my grand final is the semifinal of Gentlemates Falcons. I think whoever wins that match wins the tournament. I think with Gentlemates, you have the strongest system in Rocket League, maybe of all time. You look past to like RLCS, Season X, BDS. And then you have 3 of the most talented clinical players in Falcons. I think it's unstoppable force versus immovable object. I'm excited to see that one.
Excited to see that one, but you didn't pick your team to win.
I got Falcons.
Okay, thank you.
Falcons. Okay, man. I want to argue, but we don't really got time. We got to keep moving here, folks. There's going to be a crazy day of action, and we've actually have quite a bit of things going on in the Rocket League space and in the Rocket League world. RLCS is continuing to roll on as we are approaching Fort Worth, Texas there. September 10th through 15th, we'll be having their RLCS World Championship, but the last thing on the schedule before that is today, June 23rd. So that's kind of a long time in between there. And we actually have a number of events across the community filling out that space to keep you guys entertained while you're waiting for that World Championship at the end. Kicking it off with something that we've been promoting throughout the course of this event, the Star Chasers event hosted by Radiant GG. An all-women's tournament here going to be coming home to you mid-July. Isn't that right, Leaf?
Yeah, that's right, Wave. There are separate events for this for both NA and EU, and a third Star Chasers event in fall and in November where they'll have the Ally All-Stars, the best women's players pairing up with invited RLCS pros so we can see the best from both scenes play together. $75,000 prize pool, as you can see on the screen. July 6th for Open Qualifier, July 13th to 14th for that main event. And of course, Rocket League keeps on rolling through. Next up after that will be Esports World Cup featuring Rocket League, and that main event is taking place on August 22nd through the 25th, 2024. Teams will be competing for a share of the $500,000 prize pool with an additional $50,000 awarded to the tournament MVP. So if you're playing in that, players, make sure you're looking shiny. There will be 16 teams from around the globe competing with 2 invites per region from Europe, North America, SAM, MENA, OCE, APAC, and Sub-Saharan Africa, along with 2 wildcard invites. The tournament format will be a little bit different from last year and from the RLCS. While it will be a 3v3 standard competitive Rocket League tournament, they will have group stages featuring 4 groups of 4 teams with the GSL format. The top 2 teams from each group will then advance to the playoffs, which will be an 8-team single elimination bracket. And you think we stop there? We don't stop there because there's an event we haven't talked about yet. So right now, I want to announce the FIFA E World Cup. Let's go.
This is the opportunity, the dream that you set upon yourself. Here we go.
That's right, the FIFA E World Cup featuring Rocket League going to be coming to you soon. Don't quite know the dates just yet, but 16 teams and what seems like it'll actually be a genuine World Cup event. An actual national team's got to be all from the same country to compete.
So my question is, who's Team France?
Yes, well, my question is who gets the honor, Dazrin, of losing to Team France in the finals?
Well, listen, Vatira needs a teammate. Because his other 2 teammates, they may speak French, but they're not French.
That's true.
So you got to figure that out. Itachi.
I feel like Zen is Vatira needs a teammate or does Zen need teammates?
I mean,
no, Zen has the full French team.
Right.
But
There's Team France. Who's your Team France?
It's just like a super team.
Yeah.
I mean, if it is a super team, you got to get Zen and Vatira. And then that last spot.
I think you might go maybe Alpha.
Alpha Seiko?
Yeah, I don't know. You got to think about just pure team chemistry, vibes, etc. You can't just pair people together.
I don't know. You get 3 superstars on the same team. Oftentimes doesn't work out. Maybe you need Rado, who's, I mean, he's a superstar in his own right, but knows how to play the back line. You know?
And to be fair, we kind of have a mini World Cup here outside of mates. We got 3 countries participating. You know, Brazil, that they're going to look great and furious. So we'll see. And then obviously, you know, Falcons are a full national team. So we'll see in G2. Of course, 3 Americans could finally win a major.
Yeah,
never happened before.
Well, we're talking all about France, but there's a whole bunch of other countries that are clearly here to compete. Very excited to see how that shapes up. So keep your eyes glued to social media if you want to know about the other events happening over the course of the summer here for 2024. Let's talk about our London major, though, and the teams that are here. Who is number 1? We've been alluding to this conversation. We did the power rankings. Okay, this is the first time any of us are seeing this list. We re-power ranked the teams for today. The top 4 are our top 4 here. Bates, G2 is the 4th right now by everyone else's standards.
Well, I mean, that's good. That's great. I expect that. I was in the copper box. I was asking the fans, and you know who they said the least? G2. They might be onto something, or maybe everybody doesn't know ball. We're going to find out very, very soon. Everybody believes in Falcons. Everybody believes in Gentlemen, and everybody believes in Fury.
I'm puzzled because I thought going into that match, G2 versus Fury, I thought G2 would be the favorite.
Nope, they're underdog.
But according to us, Fury is a slight favorite there. I assume Johnny Boy probably put G2 like 10th. And kind of like mess this up. So that's what I'm assuming. But Falcons, I think you have to put them number 1 based on what they've done so far. But the mates, they have risen way, way high on these rankings because online they're a different team. But as soon as it's LAN, they show up. And that win yesterday was convincing.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the kind of almost an error I think a lot of people made in Copenhagen where mates kind of snuck through and no one really knew because the games were so close.
Yeah.
But again, now they've seen it, and I think a lot of people are starting to believe it. Mates on LAN is a different beast. I feel like they feel so comfortable on that stage that they can execute their game plan no problem at all.
So I always say you have to do it twice. The mates absolutely have at this point. I am a believer in them for sure. The last time around, again, a lot of 1-goal games. They won 20 of 21 1-goal games, but this time, biggest blowout in quarterfinal history. So they even know, like, no, we're going to win big this time. So everyone knows that we're the true number 1 team in the world.
I mean, Reynolds up here was saying Falcons versus the mates is his grand finals. Whoever wins that is going to go to the finals and take it all. And I was like, at first, like, man, you're glossing over what Fury did to Vitality and how strong they looked yesterday. But then I start thinking about what mates did to BDS. And it's like, how could you possibly differentiate them?
But not only that, when you play back-to-back, players want to play back-to-back. So I think G2 Fury have a small advantage there. So maybe those early games in that final might go their way.
Okay, we'll see how it goes. We got a few other fun talent competitions going on
I don't like
here. This is the fantasy draft, and we have a few teams here. What's crazy is to look up at players like Jorby, who's in first place, still has 2 players alive in the tournament to can still earn more points.
I'm ready for him to tank. He's going to be tanking today. He's going to tank today.
Bates has a shot.
And then that big Seiko's going to actually ball out. He's going to put me right over Stumpy, right over Jorby. I'm comfortable with it. Very comfortable. DeMar, you don't know what you're doing. You picked Alpha, J, Nav, the Fever. Listen, it looks good on paper, but clearly in actuality, it doesn't work out. And when worse Gibbs that, lost auction, Gibbs is being carried by his last pick.
I still have lost. I just want top 8. That's all I want, top row.
I should still be having Alpha, but I mean, I got to watch him get knocked out firsthand. I had to hold my hands, but it was still a good matchup. Yeah, it makes sense that Gibbs is above me now.
What's up, everybody? This is exciting. Championship Sunday.
We'll see. How
He's got a lot of ground to make up here.
As long as I'm not Cole.
Yeah, poor Cole. Oh, my goodness. But thoughts and prayers out there for Cole right now. Someone else is getting a medal.
Bear with me. I'm going to try and get my
So one medal for that.
camera on here in a spot that doesn't block the view of everything.
You're alone. Well, not alone, but you're with chat. But
about to pass
alone
chat
with the
up?
casters.
Chat's going to go with Fury.
Gibbs, have you begun to mentally prepare for a world where chat wins the prediction competition?
I'll adjust it as we go here.
Tweet out a bunch of medals in one thing, but like, here, just retweet this. And
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This is an exciting day.
Yeah,
Download it, have your
chat, though, well done, because last time around, chat was dead last, besides Coin, I think.
Yeah.
So chat has picked it up. Smart.
They've learned a thing or two now that there's a competition on the line. Also, big shout out to Section 104, currently tied for second in the prediction battle. We'll see if they can get up there into first place. Not a lot of matches left, though. We only got 3 predictions left to make here, so we'll see how things go. Now, the predictions are fun. The fans in the building, though, are the reason we do this, the reason that makes LAN special. And Leaf has been talking to some of them, to some people, and apparently has some questions for us. We answered some yesterday, so we'll do it again here. Leaf, where are you at?
That's right. Yeah, I'm making on Team 104. You guys doing all right? That's it? That's it? There you go. Yeah, you guys are all serious over there. I want to go back to the questions. We're not serious questions. I got some from the community, and I want to see if you guys can talk about your friends on the talent team here a little bit. First up, my question is, well, not my question, it's Feisty Taco wants to know, out of all the broadcast talent, who would you pick to be your partner during an apocalypse?
Ooh.